Well, today is the day. Today is the NVIDIA earnings call. Oh, this could be very interesting. A lot of excitement going into what can happen today. And I think trading today is probably going to be a little bit more relaxed on the back of what ends up happening with NVIDIA. Mostly because I think holding trades into NVIDIA leaves you stuck with NVIDIA and whatever it does to the market. How NVIDIA affects the market today will really become dependent on how much the market thinks AI is the only thing holding the market up. Volatility index pretty dang low. We broke through lows. And this trend over here, we are basically at the lows that we've seen in June and August. We have yesterday we had a piece on Deutsche Bank where they essentially talked about, look, volatility down, 10-year trading yield or a 10-year yield not going up, stocks will end up going up. So stable yields, lower VIX, stocks up. Now, I do think that today the market will be quite tenuous, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to play today yet, if I make any trades, but we are at all-time highs, so there's certainly some near-term potential sensitivity that could happen as a result of NVIDIA. It's weird because we don't really have that many catalysts, though, and this is the thing that's kind of honestly been just a little boring the last, 2 months. More precisely, the last week, frankly. I mean, the last 2 months we've certainly had catalysts, but I should say the last week is what I meant to say. The last week, we really haven't had many catalysts. We've been waiting for NVIDIA. We've been waiting for the May jobs report, which comes out in about 2.5 weeks. And then, of course, the May CPI report, which won't come out for another about 3 weeks. So, kind of bored. In that 3-week time frame, by the way, you'll also have Fed Chair Jay Powell on the same day of the CPI release. That's a big day. Like, usually you have those things on different days. No, now all of a sudden they're both on the same day. That's going to be nutty. So that'll be quite interesting. But obviously we'll be there to cover it, just like we'll be there to cover what's going on with NVIDIA today. So I'm pretty excited about that. I would say that as far as trading, let's see what we got in the morning here. So we know we've got a bit of a bleed out in some of the momentum players. And really, this was probably, I feel like, gosh, one of the shortest meme rallies, if you will, or momentum rallies, because you hit this day and a half of rally for AMC and GME, and then you kept trying to come back, and you just really couldn't get it. Even yesterday, AMC ran over $5. You know, we were looking at $5 calls in the course member live stream yesterday, and I was like thinking to myself, my gosh, the $5 calls would be really juicy if it went in the money. You know, we were looking at this yesterday. I didn't end up buying any of these, but I remember we were looking at this on the uptrend. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. It was right. The course member live stream's right here in the 10. We started it probably at like 10:15, something like that. Ended around 8ish. So we're talking about it right here in this hour, and I'm like, I don't know. Those $5 calls look pretty dang juicy. And it would have been really juicy. But boy, if you held past that point, it ended up going from, positive 4 or 5% or whatever in the money at $5. Yeah, 5.10 is what it ran to. Ended up bleeding down 3.7 on the day. So really interesting how quickly some of the momentum is bleeding out. Crown Electric, for example, I know some folks were suggesting that in the chat. I never traded this one. This one down 36% yesterday, down another 10% in pre-market here. You've got Faraday Futures up 22.7 and down 5.7 in the pre-market. I'm actually personally really surprised at Hims and Hers. I went into Hims and Hers thinking, okay, the GLP news could potentially get this thing to move up for multiple days in a row, and it's almost like it also got momentum rallied. Now, that's one of the reasons where when I noticed the momentum was already dying on it was right here So we had this explosion. This is great. Remember, in trading, the trend is your friend. That's obviously not too complicated to understand. You could really enter at any of these points and make some dollars. The problem was this red line consolidation followed by this break over here. Not great. So for me, this was a sign that the momentum was already dying. At the same time, obviously, as volume is declining. And oftentimes these trades don't make sense to hold overnight if momentum is dying. Now, Tesla was an interesting one because yesterday I was thinking about this too. Do you hold this overnight? And I was so close to holding options overnight on this. And then I thought, I don't know, this, all it's going to take is this, what's it called? I mean, obviously you had this crazy rally into the end of the day, but my thought was all it's going to take is a little bit of profit taken on that number, that's 666 gain for Tesla, and all it's going to take is a little fear over Nvidia, and you'll have a red morning, which if you go into the day with options that expire on like Friday or next Friday or even the Friday thereafter, you're just going to get whacked with decay, and I wasn't willing to take that risk. And sure enough, now we're down about 1.7 here in the pre-market. Now, what's interesting is that we're bouncing right on these two lines. Now, I don't know if you've seen this one before. This is the 183.50 line. I think this is from yesterday's trading. Let me see what this is. So I give them non-blue colors when they're lines that I'm day trading with. I don't remember where this one came from, but I also don't really want to spend the time to go find it. But the point is, it also appears to be pretty close to functioning here in the pre-market as well. At least three hits there. 3 hits on this line. So mark your calendar, or not your calendar, jeez. No, mark your calendar for May 31st, the expiration of the coupon code on building your wealth. Anyway, this is the 183.34 line right here. So I'd watch that in case you are trading today. Thompson Carter doesn't like that I trade. I don't think I'm a hardcore trader. I think I just like trading because it's entertaining in the morning. And hey, it's not always green. That's the way you have to look at it. Like, you could lose money, but the first quarter, I didn't really trade much last year, or quite frankly in 2022. Like, the last 2 years was really quiet. But this first quarter was great. It's been really good trading. Again, it's not always green. There's definitely been L's, and I think it even started out red, which sucked. But yeah, now it's really nicely positive. So I don't know why you're so butthurt about that. But anyway, this will be interesting, along with this 182.18 line right here. Look at that one. 82.10 right here, just a little bit below it, somewhere in here. So these two lines, interesting. Which it's always fascinating to me when I go to sleep, and then I wake up, and then I'm like, oh, let's see what the lines are doing. Oh, it's right between two lines. It's bizarre. So anyway, okay. So what about all I hear you talk about is the lines. 1/100th of your content this year has been related to has been related to fundamentals. Where have you been? Like, you go to the channel, you actually, like, almost every one of the big videos is unrelated to trades. You're at the market open live stream. Like, have you seen the morning news we post on eHack, which is like where I put a summary of the fundamental analysis we do here? Every time we pull up a balance sheet, a cash flow statement, an earnings report, we actually cover the earnings. Honestly, I think you're smoking crack. I think you're a little bitter because you lost a little bit of money and you gotta chill. Jeez Lord. It's like every single day we're talking fundamentals. That doesn't mean we're not also talking about the lines, but if you don't like it, don't watch. Good Lord. But anyway, a little bleed out here on Crown, Faraday. HIMS, again, the HIMS one surprised me. And then not surprising that you're getting a little bit of a sell-off on Tesla. Now, some people yesterday were talking about Tesla having semi-truck news. Now, I think this is honestly fugazi. So let me pull that up. Tesla semi-truck news. Because I didn't see this as the catalyst yesterday. Okay, so you can see this right here. It was a quote at an event. This guy, Priestley. Priestley did some presentation. Priestley. Tesla exec. Here we go. Tesla exec Dan Priestley. We're building a factory in Nevada that is being ramped in 2026 for customer deliveries and ramping to an eventual target of 50,000 units per year. Okay, so this right here is important. So let's grab this really quick because I want you to see something. Tesla. Actually, I think I have that on eHack. Hold on one sec. If I go right here, we're going to go to Tesla semi. Oh, I think did I call it grading? Did I throw it in here? Oh, I might not have it on here. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll add it. So go to Tesla Investor Relations presentation. Because I think lately, I hate to say it, but I feel like they've been selling the stock more than they've been actually performing. Let me pull up a couple things here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, where is it? Here we go. Okay, two things to look at. So number one, yeah, good. Okay, I got him. Number one is in the shareholder deck right here. If you go here, there it is. Tesla Semi, start of construction near Gigafactory, Nevada. Okay, so their argument in that Yahoo Finance article is that they are going to ramp production in 2026 and eventually get to 50,000 units. That was their claim. But what they have is a graded plot of land. Now, obviously, you have to grade land in order to build a factory. But the reality is, none of this looks like we're actually really serious about going gung-ho about building this. And when we look at the wording of what the person said, they said, I'll pull it up again. They said beginning the ramp of production in 2026. So in other words, they could literally begin building the factory in 2026. Because technically, that would be correct, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a Tesla bear here. I've got Tesla exposure. It's not an ad for the fund, but it's in my fund as well. Like, I think it's I love the company. But I also, I look at what they say with a little bit of a critical mindset of, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. Look at, I'll put this up here. So let's put these two images up. The one was from Yahoo, so I'll link them as well. The, what's it called? The problem with, I think what they're doing is they're trying to send this signal that, hey, we're doing so much more than we actually are right now because we want that Elon stock plan approved, so we need the stock up. But look again what he said. He said, we're building a factory in Nevada that's being ramped in 2026. I mean, technically, building the factory could begin in 2026 and theoretically also be ramped in 2026. Or like start building in 2025. Like, you don't technically need to start building it now if you're just going to start ramping in 2026. So consider this. What we know, I'm going to write this down. Tesla. Sometime between now and 2026, a Tesla Semi, semi-truck factory is expected to be built, right? And then we don't know when it's actually going to start construction. Right now, Elon has suggested Giga Mexico is on hold, for example, to limit CapEx during periods of economic uncertainty. Like, we know that with a fact. He said exactly this in earnings calls. We are going to hold Giga Mexico as we wait for macro uncertainty and we reprioritize CapEx spending on things like AI or whatever it might be. Then we're getting this information that sometime between now, 2024, and 2026, a Tesla Semi factory is expected to be built. That factory is expected to ramp in 2026. So my guess is that as long as I'm going to write this down. Theoretically, as long as the factory starts ramping by, say, December 2026, this statement would be true. If it takes 18 months to build the factory, I should say months because it kind of looks like million, then you could technically start building as late as May 2025. Right? I don't think that's wrong. And then showing a graded lot, showing grading, we'll use the little programmer language here, does not equal starting construction. Cities require this, and imagine how bad it would look to leave this full of weeds. Something to keep in mind. So, my take is that basically this is nonsense. This idea of this factory being built anytime soon. I think what they're almost trying to send is this signal that, hey, we're starting to build this factory. We're going to get to 50,000 units a year. Right, but they didn't tell us when they're going to get to 50,000 units a year either. So I'm going to write that down. What we don't know. We don't know when the factory construction will actually start, when we'll get to 50K units of production. So I think this is a way of looking at this from a reasonable point of view, as opposed to, oh my God, Tesla Semi factory, like the rah, 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 right? So, yeah, and then somebody here says, factor in Elon time. Right. I mean, that would be built into this sort of like when the factory construction would start and then when the ramp would be, right? This is basically Elon time. So, that's really important. Now, another thing to consider is I am really concerned about this stuff. Now, I know Elon doesn't like the SEC. A lot of people don't like the SEC. I happen to like the SEC from the point of view that, I think they're really just bureaucrats who are trying to do their job. And it's an organization that unfortunately has made mistakes when it comes to, for example, the delays on the Bitcoin ETF. I don't think they're making the same mistakes on the Ethereum ETFs. And some of that is because there's really no law yet, right? There's no... there's not a lot of case law, very little. You did get some case law that helped the Bitcoin ETF. And you don't actually have Congress getting off their butt and doing anything. So they're in a tough spot. So I have respect for that. But look at this. This is now, here in an SEC filing, which makes sense because it's related to the vote. But it blows my mind that basically what Elon is saying here, Elon's last tweet on stock comp plan, almost a little bit comes across as a threat. I want you to see this. Look at this. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna say this feels threatening. That should be the non-fact emoji, right? The green check mark is data. Little halo is Kevin's opinion. This feels like a threat. that if Elon doesn't have 25% voting control, AI and robotics don't stay at Tesla. Right? That's crazy. So the tweet, which I haven't read out yet. If Elon gets 25% voting power, Tesla is reincorporated in Texas, and the compensation package is approved, then AI and robotics stay within Tesla, and the company can march forward to become the largest company in the world. Elon replies, yes. I don't know, I feel like that opens you up to like almost like, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're allowed to do that, but it just feels a little threatening. It's also worth noting that also XAI is I mean, it's not, it was I guess XAI is just an example. Worth noting, XAI is already an independent startup of Musk, though no one expected, I believe, large language models to be at Tesla anyway. But it kind of like, it's almost like it planted the seed of, oh, yeah, see, Elon's totally capable of stripping away some of the AI. He's already done an AI startup once before. And so the wonder, too, is like, you know, is there any cross-recruiting going on that could potentially hurt Tesla? And to the extent that it happens and it doesn't hurt Tesla, I guess it doesn't so much matter. But I don't know. I'm curious how people feel about that. So let's see what y'all say. Elon is already poaching AI engineers from Tesla. Look it up. Do you have data on that, or are these anecdotes that it's happening? Let's see here. Elon sells to buy. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right, RP. It does feel that way. Tesla needs to get the robot before Apple. Apple will just license the robot. Does not make logical. This is an interesting one. Does not make logical sense. Signal goes against what happened with layoffs, hold on factories, discounting Tesla products, and slow production. Sounds like Fugazi. I think that's a good point. I'm gonna write that down. I'll say others have commented, if this is true, why all the layoffs and slowdown in production. Totally agree with that. You know, the flattening, basically, of growth. Elon is threatening shareholders. Justin suggests I don't know the difference between Bitcoin and other crypto. Okay. I don't understand why it seems like there are haters that come to the Market Open live stream. Like, I guess they must be able to extract some value out of it. And they're just bitter people. How is our infrastructure growth system going to hold up with those semis being so heavy? I don't know. I'm so worried about that. So 50,000 in production is crazy, especially when sales start pretty slow. Factor in Elon time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so somebody says Elon is uninvestable. Elon did say he's been offering AI engineers who have offers from different companies offers at XAI to keep them in his orbit. That's true. That is true. He did say that. Which could also be bullshit. It's like, because theoretically you could say that about any engineer, right? Theoretically you'd be like, oh, hey, you're a really good engineer. Microsoft might poach you. Hey, want a job at XAI? Even if they've never even been approached by Microsoft, you could theoretically say that. Very interesting. You know, Steve, you don't even realize that I literally have exposure to ticker GOLD. Got him! Got him! Yes! I got him! Yes! Finally! Yes! Burn! Let's see. Benzinga article. Is it on Tesla? I'll look. Don Adelson. Don Adelson. I don't. Which? Could you tell me which one it was? Yeah, maybe let me know which article you're talking about. But anyway, I want to hit target. So, let's see here. Yeah, well, we're going to go to target. So, a little bit of a consumer flag there. I mean, keep in mind, these companies are going to go through price wars. You're going to have deflation at some of these goods companies. I don't know that you'll have broad-based deflation. Broad-based deflation would be bad. And still can't find. No. Anyway. All right. So let me get into this. So I know Lowe's is also suffering from some price competition, and then yeah, Williams-Sonoma as well. So we're gonna pop all these together here. So let's do. Okay, here we go. Okay, Tesla. No, sorry, Tesla. I see the word Target and I start reading it as Tesla. Oopsie. My bad. All right, so Target Q1 adjusted EPS $2.03 versus $2.05. Comp sales were down 3.7%, which is basically along the lines of expectations. But it looks like their Q2 EPS came in at $2.15 versus $2.19. And basically people are suggesting that discretionary spending is still somewhat weak. Now keep in mind, Target is technically considered a consumer discretionary, while Walmart is considered a staple. And I think that I always thought that was really interesting because you could obviously pick up staples at Target. And I'm not talking about like paper staples. But anyway, Target stock is down like TGT. This is like 7%. Oh, 9%. It's just bleeding out. Started down 9.6% on missing Q2 forecast for adjusted EPS. They missed by, again, 215. You're going to go 215 divided by 219. Missed by about 1.8%. By about 1.8%. It's not even that much of a miss, but that's what happens on Wall Street these days. It's like, small miss, big burn. It's actually one of the reasons I'm worried about NVIDIA. I worry that, like, Amazon having killed their NVIDIA Grace Hopper orders is this real potential risk that, or creates this risk that NVIDIA's backlog is going to show a shrinkage because you know, Blackwell is expected later now, not earlier. I feel like somebody suggested yesterday in the chat that they were going to come earlier, and the latest that I saw was that it was actually going to come later. So it's kind of crazy. But that was really interesting to me. And then you have, let's see, Williams-Sonoma. Somebody says that Amazon report may be false. Really? AWS, NVIDIA. I don't see that. Let me see. Oh, interesting. Wait a second. Here's a Oh, the Tesla fans are going to love this source. Reuters. You might be right. Now, this came out yesterday afternoon. Look at this, because we were covering this yesterday morning. And here, it says Amazon says it has not halted any NVIDIA chip orders. How entertaining. But it is instead... No, this is accurate. But it is instead decided to purchase the company's newer chip. No, well, that's true then. So they did halt the Grace Hopper order, so it is true. Earlier, the Financial Times had reported that AWS had fully transitioned previous orders from the Grace Hopper chip to its newer Blackwell chip. So basically, they're trying to say, we're not canceling orders, we're transitioning the order. It's Kevin. Why do you buy call options? I mean, that's just marketing. Why do you buy call options if you're bullish on a stock? Why don't you just sell puts so you don't get hit with the theta decay? Yeah, mostly because. So there are two things, right? Like there's your long portfolio, which I don't think should be traded frequently. It's just basically like, hey, look, when you make an adjustment in your long portfolio, you're doing it for your long portfolio adjustments. And that could be risk mitigation, risk management, whatever it is. Trading is when I play options. I only trade pretty much in this, what's it called, my Webull account. And when I do options, I usually try to get out of them within a day, like within the same day. Now, you could still get theta decay within the same day. It's especially bad on 0 days on a Friday. Like, you could basically see the theta decay every minute to where, like, the stock will trade sideways and your option value will just decline. That's theta decay happening in real time. But usually, if you're day trading on, like, a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're not holding the options for more than that day, the theta decay is relatively nominal. So that's my answer. And the upside is obviously substantially greater. I mean, I generally can't realize a 30% gain on an option in the same day when I sell the option. I have to just sort of wait. But then I take the market risk of what happens. Whereas if I'm going to just play lines or whatever, then I'm trying to get in and out same day, and I'm looking for a bigger pop, basically. Good question. Okay. Is that bullish for NVIDIA? That means they make money from Blackwell and Grasshopper. Gracehopper. Yeah. So I actually don't think so. I think two things could be happening. Number one, Amazon demand for AI data centers isn't that high. That could be an Amazon problem. The second thing is the entire industry could be saying there isn't so much profitable demand that we need to buy chips that are basically going to be outdated in 9 months. And so that's actually bad. That's a bad omen. It's actually not even an omen. It's like literally just a big red flag for the whole AI is going to go on forever, situation. Yeah. Let's see here. Can you tell me what has changed in your thinking about the market? I tried to understand yesterday's video, but I still don't get it. Which part? It was a 31-minute video explaining that the concerns from Q1 are no longer concerns. That's not saying there are not other concerns. You still have the inverted yield curve. The 10-2 is an issue. Remember, the 10-3 month isn't that useful, mostly because it's just the difference between long-term rates and the current Fed funds rate, basically. Yeah, if you have questions about the course, I see your question here. Rakad. Staff@meetkevin.com. The next paragraph of the Amazon article was explaining where Amazon's using Blackwell and Hopper. Well, of course, I mean, they've already owned and bought Hopper, right? Yeah. I mean, I can go to the Financial Times story, too. So this was the breaking story. Amazon changes plans to order NVIDIA Superchip to await updated model. Air pocket in demand for AI chips. Exactly. Exactly the way to put it. I think this is a red flag, because once that growth slows down, you stop beating as much on backlog for these AI companies. You're screwed. Like, these valuations are, you know, a little rich right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I have a lot of exposure to NVIDIA, so you know, it's something that I think of too, where it's like, but what are you gonna do? Well, I mean, you could always trim going into earnings. All right. So, now, what do we have here?
Use Kirkland signature cornflakes unless you come down.
No, it doesn't necessarily work that way. So, here's, like, the way I look at it is, okay. Oh, Jesus Lord. Okay, let's go to the iPad. You're making me go to the iPad. You're making me do it. Somebody here says there's no air pocket. They're just simply moving the money from the Grace Hopper to Blackwell. That'll still be seen as revenue for NVIDIA. It's all fine. Clearly somebody who's an NVIDIA investor here. It's funny. You say one negative thing about somebody's stock, and it's like you just insulted their wife. That's when you know you're too emotional of an investor. All right. Here's how it works. Okay. Let's say this is Amazon, okay? So here's AWS. We have, that is a server. AI server. Let's say I have 100 of those up and running today. Okay? Now, let's say when AI started, AWS at start of AI revolution. Okay? So AWS at the start of the AI revolution. We have 100 servers. We need to get to 1,000 AI servers. This would be a 10x, right? What happens during that time? Well, during this ramp and increase of demand, you buy Grace Hopper chips for a premium, and whatever you can get them for. Okay? That's how it works. So this is why NVIDIA can sell a $70,000 or $7,000 chip for $35,000. Inflation due to lack of supply. This is very simple. Everybody should know this at this point. Okay? AWS is willing to pay because the money they can make from AWS clients is bigly. Okay? Fantastic. Now, If AWS today says we're at, AI server, we're at 1,000, and then they say we're gonna go stay at 1,000. Let's do this. X 1,000. So basically 0x for 9 months while we wait for Blackwell. What does this say? Well, it's simple. It tells you that the 2023 increasing level of AI demand is no longer as increasing, aka the rate of growth has slowed. Okay. You now have a server company willing to wait 9 months to expand. That means either, one, AWS sucks, right? It is not necessarily bad for NVIDIA, or AI demand is slowing / not growing at the same rate as before. Biggest risk to popping AI bubble. So, let's just say, given that clearly you're an NVIDIA fanboy, okay? Let's just say, just to help you make sure you realize I'm not trying to offend you, since clearly you're sensitive about NVIDIA stock, let's just say there's a 90% chance it's that AWS sucks. You know what? Hold on. Let me make sure I really, really don't offend the NVIDIA fanboys here. Let's just say there's a 99% chance that NVIDIA or that AWS sucks. And there's just a 1% chance that AI demand is slowing. You still have a non-zero chance. This is non-zero chance that AI demand is down. That's the problem. I don't know why that all went blurry there for a second. But anyway, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. That's the explanation. So, that's the concern. So, I think that's very interesting. Yeah. All right. So, what else? Okie dokie. Yesterday I briefly traded Super Microcomputer because I thought this sucker would sell down into the close. And this is the trend I was following. And I thought when we broke over here, it'd be a good entry for a short. I ended up moving that position to Tesla because it lost pretty quickly, and I was really bummed on that. But look at it. Had I held the woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't do that. It bled out 55 basis points. It went from 1.5% up down to 0.5%. So it had a 2% swing, juicy for options. So that would have been up like 20 or 30%. Obviously, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You can't do that. Don't do that. It's bad. But the point is, sometimes you gotta have the patience to hold through it. And sometimes I don't always get it right. I want to be clear. I just want to send a balanced signal here that I don't always get it right. Now, obviously, yesterday I was still up 45K on the trading day, which was great. That was probably on like 200K of risk or something like that. So it was still a really good day. But it could have been better. That's a really toxic way to look at it. Don't look at that. So, somebody says, what's up with DJT? Yes. Let's see. Okay, DJT. Oh, I made money shorting this yesterday, too. I was shorting this downtrend. I mean, it was an obvious downtrend. But you can even make money on these even when you get in, if you get in late. But once it started consolidating right here under VWAP, I'm like, no thanks. It was too much sideways movement. So took some tennies. AWS sucks. Microsoft is the biggest player. Yeah. Let's see here. AI demand is significantly higher than AWS. That's okay to have that opinion. Ask any software engineer. AWS does suck. Somebody else says, I think it's slow AI chip demand. Yeah. So many retail calls on NVIDIA worries me. Let's see here. AWS is a $100 billion enterprise on its own. I mean, I don't think there's like, I mean, I know some people have their preferences. Some people like Azure, some people like AWS. It's preference, right? Let's see here. Kevin is way overthinking this. How am I way overthinking it? I don't think that's way overthinking it at all. The person said that orders going from the Grace Hopper to Blackwell is not bad. Because you're basically, like, what they're alleging is that, see, the person here, person commented, not bad for NVIDIA because $100 of Grace Hopper revenue just becomes $100 of Blackwell revenue. Okay, this is true. That is true. Like, we could stand on that and say, this is true. $100 becomes $100. However, what does it miss? One, that's delayed revenue, right? Two, that means GH chips may rapidly lose value, and we might need to see existing prices for Grace Hopper chips fall, hurting what's it called? The balance sheet and current backlog if prices fall, right? And it risks a red flag. It risks missing a red flag that AI server demand is slowing. These are pretty important things. So I don't think this is overthinking. I think this is thinking. I think most of the time people are just sort of looking at stock going, I don't know, man, stock going up. Like, look at this company. It's called VRT. I was looking at that yesterday. Where did I put that up on here? I put that on, how is eHack? We were working on this. So eHack, VRT, Vertiv. So Vertiv has outperformed NVIDIA. Now, what's interesting is they're growing about 7% a year in the year of AI. And their gross profit did grow by 14%, probably because they're increasing prices because of AI demand. But again, the problem with that is you can really only increase prices to the extent that demand exceeds supply. But once supply catches up, those prices start moving down. And so I noticed in the company earnings calls, they were very hesitant to talk about how long they'd still be able to maintain some of their pricing. And instead, they really wanted to focus on these long-term margin goals they have of 20%. But to me, it somewhat kind of implied that they were a little hesitant to say that they'd be able to continue to keep that sort of like top-line growth up. And that instead, we're going to focus on efficiency and margin. It's interesting. Like, if you read the call, you'll see the dodging that was going on. But those are things to read and understand. I think they're important. If you don't, that's your problem. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you just YOLO calls and everything's gonna be fine. That's possible too. Faraday Futures bleeding into the pre-market here, down 10%. You've got Enphase basically flat. 111, this is sort of bled out under 113. Can't really trust the lines over here anymore. Robinhood, down about 0.57. Himshurst, 3. Ethereum. Ethereum's been playing with the lines as well. It's kind of fallen off this line. I mean, yesterday we were just holding on, plus or minus that line. Kind of dropped a little bit here. Similar to what happened, I feel like, after the BTC ETFs. Okay. Target still down 9.3. Oh yeah, we were gonna look at. Ooh, SunPower is coming back today. Okay. Here's another one that's been memeing. MGOL. It stayed pretty stable yesterday, though it had quite a bit of volatility. You can see it was really stuck in this range yesterday, because look at it, it was up 443%. Pretty much the same price the rest of the day yesterday. But I guess pre-market wants to pump it again. Although, look at that. Look at that. You got a pre-market pump, and it's already dumping. That's crazy. So, I'm surprised there's still that sort of the momentum wave is kind of moving through different stocks. Just because so many of them have started bleeding already. Here's SunPower. Let me see if there's any news on this. That looks like a news move. SPWR. SunPower adds Tesla Powerwall to portfolio. Oh, that's cool. SunPower rises after adding Tesla Powerwall to portfolio. So they basically they could lease it out or sell it now. That's cool. There will always be buyers for chips that AWS doesn't buy. See, I don't agree with that. I don't think there will always be buyers for Grace Hopper chips at $35,000, which is like, 8 times what it costs NVIDIA to make it. I think there'll always be buyers at a fair market price for these chips when supply and demand actually come into balance. After all, that is the nature of a market. What else? Okay. Yeah, Rob, we could talk about that in Course Live. But anyway, so this is SunPower here. Ooh, that was a bizarre red candle you got there. Intraminute candle. Let me see. Oh, yeah, no, that was just an intraminute little candle there. That's an illiquid market for you. Anyway, let's go over here.
It just hasn't happened in retail as much as we're getting.
Yes, and we're still going to get...
Yeah, NVIDIA investors, look at Tesla new car prices. Right. I mean, over time, the prices of the chips, just like cars, will go down.
Tractor Supply going against them, and of course Athletic Gap's doing much better. They've got they're in a dogfight. Lulu's in a dogfight. Well, no, it would have been nicer to know it at 500, obviously.
Yeah, one of the rare retail names skirting off of 52-week lows on Lulu. We'll get Cramer's Mad Dash 2 and countdown to the opening bell on a Wednesday that's busy and about to get busier tonight. Stay with us.
I can't believe you.
I would have fun covering that NVIDIA earnings call. I hope you come join me. So, have I already mentioned we have an expiring coupon code on May 31st? Hope you join. Courses on Building Your Wealth. And in the Stocks Insight group, we do have the trade alerts. You get lifetime access to that when I do send trade alerts. NVIDIA earnings. Okay. So there we go. Okay, I'm gonna schedule the NVIDIA earnings call for, I don't know, maybe we could do the bell together? Should we do the bell together? I think we should do the bell together. So I'll schedule that. That'll be fun. So that'll be ready to go. That'll be... That'll be... We'll do it at 12:45. And then... Let's see here. What I'll do too is after this stream is over, I'll do a little redirect to it, so that way you all can have a quick little easy link to get there. Redirect. NVIDIA earnings call. Yeah, that'd be good. We love the bell. The bell's fun. I like the bell. How can I get 1 month access? There's no 1 month access. You're in or you're out. What do you think the odds are Wing faces a Lulu-like correction between now and January? I don't know, man. Like, I think Wingstop is way overvalued, and it's like, I'd love to short it. But the problem is you have to be right with the timing, and that's the hardest part. You have to be right on direction. You have to be right with timing. And I suspect it's going to go down heavily. Question is, when? Because I want to short the crap out of it. Maybe when it's on a downtrend. But, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Trevor, now you're going to spam it? Trevor, copy and paste the same answer or question twice. It says, Kevin, based on your AI concerns, why don't you sell out of your AI position? Well, just because you have a concern doesn't mean you can't like the company. I think NVIDIA's valuation is high. And the biggest risk to NVIDIA has always been that slowdown in growth. But the same thing is true. We don't know when that slowdown in growth is going to happen. What if this AWS signal is just that AWS sucks? That's always a possibility. So that's the thing, you don't know with certainty. So the way you can limit some of that uncertainty or sort of hedge some of that uncertainty is you could always trim a position. You could add to or trim a position based on concerns or excitement that you have. No investment comes with zero risk. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Manfred here says Kevin's trades alone make you the money back of the course plus more. I mean, well, that's not guaranteed though, right? Because if you suck, and then you lose money, then it's not true. Ultimately, the goal is to try to help people learn how to trade themselves. That's the goal. And I could start losing money too, in the trading account. So just be clear. But I'm glad you feel that way. That's very good. Okay. Yes. Teach a man to fish. Do I have any NVIDIA? So I generally don't hold... Andrew, that's funny. I generally don't hold... options overnight. Generally. I have before, and I've lost money and I've made money doing it. But yeah, I don't have any options right now. I honestly I hate playing earnings as well. What's it called? Let's go look at the volatility on NVIDIA. When it comes to these catalyst events, it's either going to be up or down. It's either up or down. Let's go with NVIDIA. HVG, let's see here. And then we'll go with earnings estimates. Okay, so yeah, vol for NVIDIA it's a little below average right now. And the implied one-day move is 7.7% versus the 8 and 5 average. So that's interesting. Write that down. NVIDIA implied move today. What did I say? 7.72? Yeah, 7.72. 7.72% versus 8.5% average earnings move. Very interesting. Let's see here. Oh, we're already getting close to the bell here. That's crazy. That time just flew by, didn't it? Let's get into the music. There we go. Can y'all hear that? I don't know if y'all can hear that. I hear it. Yeah, you should be able to. Alright, here we go.
Don't worry about the water rising inventory. Wait a second. Rising inventory? I thought there was like a short supply. So that's what's happening. Don't worry about, didn't know about.
Yeah. Orders were good. Pricing was a little soft on the orders.
So, look, when we get to a point where there's too many homes built, that's going to take a long time. They just don't build as many homes as we need. We're obviously building the same amount of homes as we were when our country was half the size. But the great home builder stock rally isn't necessarily over, but this is what the Fed should be seeing. Oh, we take mortgage.
Yeah, there is absolutely a lack of home building. Target moving down. Wingstop. I don't know. It feels frozen right there. Sorry, not Wingstop. Williams-Sonoma feels frozen right there. This is DJT right here. Trying to get a green candle going. Got the Qs. Green candling. They were slightly red in the pre-market. There's Tesla playing the line. Look at that. The candle wick basically is line to line. That's really cool. But it's going down. Okay, so where's Tesla going to go to today if the trend today is down? 179's possible pit stop unless it gets a bounce here. First 15 minutes of trade always makes me nervous, though. Super Micro bleeds. Well, yeah, going into NVIDIA earnings, it's not a surprise. Microsoft, is that a breakout on Microsoft? I think it is. Microsoft's breaking out. Now it's going to push to all-time new highs. This one's bleeding down. Not a surprise. Palantir rising. Hims and hers trying to come up. NVIDIA is trying to come up. Amazon's making up for the mess of yesterday. BTC slightly green there on the minute candle. What's this? SunPower really moving on that Tesla move. Wow. Nice little rally there. Oh, Tesla's trying to come back up. All right, watch it. Watch that 183 level. Let's see what happens. Okay. What else? What do we have here? Shopify. 3.5. Why is Shopify moving like this? Is there news on Shopify? Let me see really quickly. Shopify. Please don't spam the chat. Shopify. Shopify gains as Goldman says it's a buy. Okay, so they got an upgrade. Let's say. Yeah. Come on, Tesla. You can do it. Ooh, I like the end phase move. I was trying to get right back to where it belongs. This one, the MGOL, is just total bleed out from the pre-market. FFIE is bleeding out. AMC is bleeding. Target's flattening out. Williams-Sonoma can't keep running. Boring. You know, what is running, though, is SunPower. Where is it? SunPower. Nope, never mind. JK, it's already given up. This is why, man, the first 15 minutes is like, oh my gosh. Lulu, 5% on Lulu. Holy crap. That's a big move on Lulu. Ooh, what a rip. Lulu and then AMD. I hear some AM Dizzle enthusiasm. AM Dizzle. Oh, yeah, okay. Had a nice little green set there. SunPower is getting stuck. The Qs are rising. Yeah, because Microsoft's just skyrocketing. Tesla couldn't do it. Yep. Now it needs to hold that 182 line. It's entertaining. Entertainment guaranteed. What is this? Why is Hims bleeding? Nvidia's bleeding. All right, let's listen in here for a moment and see what other news we have.
A lot of people think it's a commodity. It isn't. ADI is a really great company, but Texas Instruments should be up 10 points right now. They're the rival.
Yeah. Speaking of inventory, you mentioned Williams-Sonoma, where inventory was down 13, Jim.
Oh,
that's been
amazing.
a running theme in these specialty retail reports as well.
SunPower's totally bleeding out on this.
Laura Albert came to San Francisco when I did a show, and the stock was at 200, and she reported some great numbers, and the stock was immediately cut in half, and we were like, she and I were baffled. But what happened is that people were saying, you know what, we're done with fixing up our home because of COVID. We fixed it up. We don't need Williams-Sonoma. What they forgot was Williams-Sonoma's selling things. Williams-Sonoma always has different things, regardless of whether you're doing your place over or not. I was at West Elm the other day. It's completely different from what it was. There's a fashion element to what she does. Now, she is so low-key and non-promotional. I have begged her to come on and go to a store because the stores are looking fantastic. But she just says, look, we're digital first. Come on. But I think that anyone who goes to the river, like we will with the Riverhead Outlet, I don't know if you've seen it this weekend, out on Long Island, you can't be like, give me some more damaged boxes. And I always like take pictures and this box is damaged on this espresso maker. And she goes, don't worry about it. The product itself is not damaged.
Okay, Jimbo, this is exceptionally boring. I thought we were going to get to some point, but it was just yapping about Williams-Sonoma. Block is almost down 5%. Why? Oh, you're right. It's tanking. What the hell? What the hell, man? Oh, buy now, pay later needs credit card oversight. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says. Yeah, probably true. Lulu's now down 6. Oh, dude, it's getting smoked. And so is SunPower. Oh, the Qs are getting smoked. Tesla continues its fall. Faraday Future's falling. Microsoft just took a poop. Oh, but Enphase is getting to that 113 line. Oh, MGOL back up again. Let's see. Ooh, Facebook ran up 1%. This is very entertaining. So, don't confuse the yawn for not being entertained. GreenWave even went positive this morning. This is fascinating. Uber up 3%. Salesforce, Amazon, Meta, all of them were like 80 bips. And then on the downside, Target's even recovering. Block was sliding. Tesla's almost down 3%. Oh, it's losing. It's losing the 182. I think that means we're going to 179. It's not very good.
The stock is lower right now. We're going to get to that in a minute, but let's go through some of the numbers right now, because for the 3 months through April, you had purchase contracts rising 30% from the same period a year earlier, managing to slightly beat estimates. Then you take a look at the outlook, and you had Toll Brothers boosting its full-year fiscal deliveries guidance between 10,400 to 10,800. That is up from their previous forecast from 10,000 to 10,500 units. So when you think about Toll Brothers, they often cater to more affluent buyers who are more likely to be paying in cash. And you think about the effect of higher interest rates, that means that Toll Brothers' demand is a little bit insulated from that. The company also said that in addition to that profile, its strategy of including, quote, more affordable luxury properties and also boosting its supply of spec homes is helping to increase its market share. And actually on the call just a few minutes ago, you had executives saying that 50% of sales are spec homes right now, actually, and that the long-term average for specs will be 40 to 50%.
A spec is different from like a development where they do 100 of the same homes. A spec is where you call up the builder and say, hey, can you build me a home that I want? And the builders are like, yeah, sure. You know, here's some floor plans you could choose from or whatever.
Shares are about 100% higher over the past year, so definitely a high bar there.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Katie, thanks very much for that. Katie Greifeld is going to go into the other studio, and she's going to anchor the Baby 10 in just about 20 minutes from now. Joining us to talk about markets further is Eric Friedman, CIO of U.S. Bank Asset Management Group, the asset management arm of the fifth biggest bank in America. Eric, great to have you here with us. Let me ask you, first of all, about how important NVIDIA earnings are. Is it right for us to be so focused on this one company amidst this, you know, massive bull market?
Yeah, man, I think it is important to be focused on it. You know, if you look at the ecosystem, if you will, everything from the previous segment, you emphasized utilities, you talked about the business to business trends within technology spend. That's really been a theme, a very durable theme for the last couple of years, and we still think there's legs to it. So if you think about whether it's that company with 20% of its sales to one captive customer, again, that probably broadens out over time, but that just speaks to how much demand there is for that technology. So we do think it's right to focus on it. There's, of course, a lot of other things happening in the world, but it's clear the focus for the day.
In terms of the broadening of the market, how quickly do you see that happening? Where do you see the most evidence of broadening out from the Magnificent Seven?
Yeah, you know, man, I think it's something, you know, you and I are both Grateful Dead fans, and it's like, you know, that great song, The 11. There are actually 11 subsectors of the S&P 500 now participating in the uptrend, which is a good thing. So to your point, there's some level of diminishing activity across lower income consumers. We have to really pay attention to that. A lot of the chatter we're hearing from retailers, again, earnings this morning, also some of the overnight action in Europe and Asia, does suggest that at the margin, we're seeing some slowdown of the marginal consumer spend. So we have to pay attention to that. We also have to keep in mind, though, that this economic growth is still really on the back of still positive wages versus inflation. It probably doesn't feel that way to most consumers, but real wage growth is still positive. Should we see that reverse, we get more concerned. We think that probably, you know, dampens, if you will, the 11 broadening out. But for now, we still think there's momentum. We still think there's an opportunity for consumers to keep spending. And
everything's sinking today. Like Tesla broke the 182. It's at 181. The Qs are about to go red. NFAs can't keep it up. Momentum movers are down, with the exception of, I think, MGOL of the ones that we're tracking here.
You know, fish tickets were even more. How concerned are you about the lack of disinflation and the resultant lack of Fed cuts?
Yeah, I think, you know, the Sphere recreated Barton Hall from Cornell University, which is a pretty tough ticket not to purchase. So that's probably a little idiosyncratic. But to your point, Matt, this is an environment where inflation and price pressures continue to be an issue. You're starting to see some pushback on that, though. Think about what you've heard from retailers and the clear bias from consumers seeking more value in their day-to-day living, but perhaps are willing to pay up for experiences. That's a theme that we think continues. Again, it's not just the revenge travel coming out of COVID, but people do want to live in the moment. People do want to pay up, if you will, for travel. Again, we have to see how, in fact, what kind of staying power that theme has. But that is something that divergence between day-to-day living versus the more experiential base that people are willing to pay up for, we still think that works. So, obviously the Fed and what happens with the back half of this year with the political landscape clearly in focus. But for now, we still think this is a decent environment for consumer spend.
I definitely need a miracle to get down to Las Vegas. Eric Friedman, what are you doing in your portfolios at U.S. Bank Asset Management right now? I mean, you're moving some big money around, right? $400, $500, $600 billion. Where are you focused?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we have on right now incrementally is that in April, during what I guess we can't really call it a massive dip map, but there was still some level of a downturn in both equity prices and commodities. We actually bought that dip. And so we do think that the commodity bias towards upside surprises is still there. Clearly, days like today when crude's off, that does, we think, represent likely a buying opportunity. But we think that China in particular, as a export-laden economy, they're trying to run the old playbook of obviously pushing exports out as fast as they can. That will be inflationary. We think that if there is a push towards tariffs, that will also be inflationary. We also think that, again, with respect to the consumer demand trends, with some upside risk to things like hydrocarbons and also things, Matt, that you just don't get in corporate earnings. You know, if you want to get exposure to a broadening basket of commodities, you're generally not going to get that in the corporate earnings sphere. So we think owning commodities makes sense on more of a tactical basis. We also think that equal-weighted S&P, which has been the, let's call it the lagging stepchild of the market for some time, we think it's time to get involved. There's a decent inherent yield in that category, but also you have less refinancing risk. Small cap companies in a rising interest rate environment, if we do get that risk upside to rates, will have a trouble refinancing. And so we think that owning equal-weighted S&P is a good way for clients to get exposure to the large cap equity space in the U.S. market.
Eric, great having you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Eric Friedman there.
Equal weighted. I don't know, man. I kind of like the S&P the way it is. The exposure to Microsoft. I don't know. It's been just one of those like sexy stocks that you just haven't touched, or if you haven't touched, you're kind of like, man, I wish I had me some Microsoft. Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be saying that, but here I am. It's just the numbers. They're so good. They're so good. Every time I look at the fundamentals, it's so juiced. It's crazy. Anyway. All right. So what else? Come on, Q's. You can make it back. You can make it back, Q's. You can do it. Tesla's having a really hard time getting back to that 182. It makes me a little nervous. Enphase is potentially, if it holds here, it might be breaking out. And I think its next stop is 119, 120 potentially. I don't know if it's going to pull it off, but that's what I'm watching. I've got Apple's down 12 bips, Nvidia 53. I've got AMD. It's up 152. Lulu's down 7, so you're getting some bleed over here. Williams-Sonoma moving up. Q's moving up. Yeah, Tesla's just having trouble holding on to that level here. Come on, baby, push it. It really needs to get to 182, and then it can push up again from there. But it's going slow here. Here we go. Come on. Push the candle up a little more. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's too funny. Oh no. Oh dear. All right. Okay. So let's go. There we go. Let's see if Cramer's gone back to yapping.
Obviously in a muted range. S&P's just down a point. We'll get existing homes in about 15 minutes and a 20-year auction at 1 o'clock Eastern time. 10-year creeps up back to 443. Stay with us.
All right. So they all want to go to commercial. Come on, Enphase, you can do it. Come on. No. That's all right. Yeah, it's trying. So my view is this is really exciting that they've gone from no man's land 111. And the red lines are useful for me, but 113.40 is more important. That's my support. And usually, no guarantees, but it usually trends up towards 119. So sometimes it stops a little short, but that, like, every stock does that when it approaches a resistance line. SunPower is stabilizing, which is good, because if you're going to go play Enphase, you don't want SunPower to bleed out. You've got DJT is stabilizing as well, so if you're looking to short that, you know, now you're consolidating. Though the trend over time does appear to be down. Tesla can't get it above the 182. SMCI actually just went positive. Oh, there we go. 116 on Enphase. Let's go! Push it! Ooh! HIMS is starting to run as well. Very cool. Very, very cool. I like that. What else? ARM, 25, 23 bips. Palantir, 42. Apple, 4 bips. NVIDIA, look at the NVIDIA bleed. NVIDIA bleeds. Well, if it bleeds, it leads, my friends. At least that's what people say in the news. I don't know, I always thought that was kind of a crass line, but people do say that. MGOL's at 24% of dues, 25% now. Rivian's up 1.5. Robinhood down 2%. Now, why would Robinhood be down 2%? I think it's just done so well that that's one of the reasons you're kind of just seeing a little bit of pain there on Robinhood. You know, 1794. That's been my support line on that one. So I've been watching that. Let's go for the Doombuggers. Come on, Doombuggers. What do you got?
And those who are only benefiting from the environment. So you can separate, you know, the good from the weak ones. And people have to focus a lot more on being efficient on the operations point of view, making the companies better. So it's really an exciting time for the private equity industry.
I mean, I would expect, as interest rates rise, that, you know, leveraged loans would be harder to get, more expensive, more difficult to make money on. And yet, you know, there's so many trillions of dollars in private equity. Has that number grown this year?
So the volume of leveraged loan issued in the first quarter is more than half of the whole of last year. So you see confidence coming back. But yes, the higher...
More than half of the entirety of last year in the first quarter alone.
Yes. So big return of confidence. I think it's just making the job of private equity investors a bit more difficult, which is also making it more interesting. As an investor, you have to choose where you're going to, as an investor in private equity funds, you have probably between 1,800 and 1,900 funds open for you to invest in any day of the week. And you need to choose the best managers, and then you sign with them for another 10 to 12 years. So the industry is under a lot of pressure to do the right thing and provide the better returns for the investors. But it's more difficult today than it was 5 years ago.
Where do you see the biggest opportunity, the best opportunities? I mean, if you're looking at the US or Europe or Asia, are there spots that look more attractive?
Well, we definitely see more appetite in the US and more confidence in this part of the world. And then you have some sectors which continue to thrive. I'm thinking specifically about of software and the healthcare industry, which attract a lot of capital these days.
What about artificial intelligence? I have to ask because today we get NVIDIA earnings. And if you look at the chart of NVIDIA or a lot of AI, I looked at super microcomputer today, and it was like a hockey stick. So is AI huge as well in your business?
I think in our business, not quite yet. I think there's a lot of people looking at what it could be and what value it could bring to investors. But I think we operate in a buyout space more than the venture capital or the growth space. And in the buyout, I think a lot of companies are looking at it, looking at how they could create more value for the shareholders. But it's still at curiosity level and more than implementation.
And how much does the Fed matter to you? I mean, rates apparently don't have as much of an effect as I would have thought, right? We're a lot higher than we were 2 years ago. Does it matter if they cut once or twice? Does it matter if they even raise once?
It matters usually because it changes the cost of capital for people buying private companies. So it matters usually, and it's going to impact the value of the privately held companies. It's going to impact their liquidity, how easy it is to sell them or buy new ones. So it's a huge impact on the industry.
But it's clearly not holding back leveraged loans if the volume is in the first quarter already more than half of what it was last year.
Yeah, it's coming back. Last year was a substantially lower number than the previous year. So it is coming back, which is good. We see confidence back in the market, and we like to see that. But we're not completely back to the level of 2021.
Pierre-Antoine, great having you in here. Thanks so much.
Thank you very
fascinating
much.
Market.
I miss 2021 to some extent, but I will say something. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's freaking crazy. Enphase just pumped off that line like crazy. And we just played that. Let me just post the screenies. That's sick. Enphase, I'm telling you, I've done this so many times live where it just pumps off these lines. It's so crazy. We've watched it over and over again. Now, does that mean Tesla's going to move? See, Tesla's too slow today. Tesla doesn't have the momentum today. This is great. So that was... Oops, did I do that right? No, that was... oh, sorry, that's the buy screenshot. Let me put the sell one there. Where was my sell? There it is. Okay, so I just played the lines on Enphase, and I put 30K into an option. I'll show you what it is in case you're curious. But I'm telling you, these lines, like I was saying, I don't know how sustainable it is, but lately it's just been like, if it breaks through 113, there we go. Okay, if it breaks through 113, it just runs. Same thing I'm going to watch on Tesla here. But, yeah, I'll show you. This is what I played. So this was just in like the last few minutes here. I bought the 119 call looking for a breakout on the 113 line. And you can see it's actually still moving. Like if I hold it, I probably would make even more money because I think it's going to go all the way to 119. Look at it, keeps going. Like I probably make even more money, but that's fine by me. Like go make money. Like it might run to 119, 120, but you know, I sometimes I take profits too early, but sometimes I don't take them early enough. So like yesterday, I was up a chunk on this option. I ended up selling it for a break even when I could have sold it for more. So sometimes like waiting too long to take a profit isn't great either. But anyway, the lines tell you breakout here. Look, we consolidated right on the 113. I went in right about here, and I put 30-ish K in on this sucker. Let me see. I bought 500 contracts at 73. So 73 cents, 500 times 100. I put $36,000 into it, and it literally just gained $55.8 thousand. Just now. That was like while we were live. That's crazy. So I sent that alert to everybody in the Stocks Insight group when I put the trade in. I'm like going long Enphase here, you know, on that 113 line, close to it. It might have been like 114 when my trade actually went through. But that was freaking awesome. And what's crazy is it's higher than where I sold. Which then always makes me look at it and go, I could have had more. It's crazy. Yeah, Tesla's waking up. Let's see here. What's the update on the Tesla calls? I don't have any Tesla calls. I always give my update. No, I don't like holding options overnight. It's rare that I hold options overnight. SunPower running, by the way, like this is a sign that Enphase could keep going. Now Enphase likes to bob. Like look how stable that is. That's crazy. But if Enphase comes back down to 114, I might play it again. Qs. Let's see here. Should Lulu bounce off 300? Let's see here. Enphase was not at 170 when the alert went out. Carl, you have to be careful if you're using iPhone. There's a glitch where sometimes iPhone's slow. The fastest way to get alerts is desktop. It's almost instantaneous. Like what a lot of traders do is they just have their volume on, like their sound on their computer, and the alerts are like instant. You have notifications on, and then you hear that whoop whoop, and notifications are like instantaneous. Yeah. And if you're having any issues getting alerts, we could always help you. Just email us at staff@meetkevin.com. We can make sure it's set up properly for you. Okay, good. So, let's see here. BNed? What's BNed? BNed. Barnes, holy crap-a-molas. Barnes and Nobles? Ed? What the hell is that? BNed. Barnes and Noble's Education. What is that? Book retailer. It's Barnes and Nobles, I guess. Looks like a little bit of a Wall Street bets pump is what people are talking about. And if I look at this on the hour chart, oh, this is the third day in a row now. Look at that. So day chart, you have 152%, minus 31%, 74, 143. My lord. What's the market cap of this now? $70 million. Ha 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 ha. That's comedy. It's so entertaining. Well, just be careful. When the bleed comes fast. It's usually how it works. Tesla just doesn't have the momentum today. Like, this, like, barcoding that's going on is not delicious enough for momentum. This is the momentum I like. That's the momentum you play. Then you have plenty of times on the shelf to take tendies, and then you get a re-entry ideally at 114.72. That's the goal. But that 113 break, if you don't have the 113.4, that's like a free line for you. If you don't have the 113.40 written on Enphase, I think you're missing out. Obviously, no guarantees. Okay, so that was fun. All right, what else?
The biggest mining deal in over a decade. Will Kennedy, he is Bloomberg's senior executive editor for energy and commodities, is here with the latest. So the door is open to talks, but is there a chance here that we could see BHP walk away?
Yeah, can do, Chris. That's a good idea.
Every chance. BHP has said that as it stands, this is its final offer, although there is...
No, of course I've heard of Barnes & Nobles. I've never heard of Barnes & Noble's Education. So I didn't know if it was like a grift on the name. You know, sometimes people do that. Like they try to sound like they're similar to the company everybody knows. Kevin, how do you determine which option to choose? You went 119. So I went 119. Yes, the 120 or 121 would have been cheaper and could have had some more gains. But it depends on how long you want to hold it. Obviously, I closed early on it. But if you go for... See, my thought is that there's a chance, and it does this. It always does this. It always seems to want to rotate before it gets there. So you're right. Like, at that point, you may have well just have gone 120 or whatever. But, and then it ends up sort of like bobbing throughout the day. But what's very interesting is the 119 line is a number that often goes in the money. And when these options that are out of the money go in the money, oh, they print. So if there could be another play where there's a time to re-enter the 119s, and then you want to see it go in the money. I'm less confident that a 120 is going to go in the money. So, like, I try to set myself up just in case I want to hold it longer term. Like, for a few hours. Sometimes I go in for 10 minutes. Sometimes I go in for more, sometimes less. It just depends on the day. And I can go back in and out multiple times. Like, yesterday, I went in multiple times in and out of Tesla. Just because it was going crazy yesterday. So it was sort of like go in, take tendies, go in, take tendies, go in. I think I broke even on my last one. But, yeah, it's pretty wild. So, like, let's see here. Where's the coupon code? The coupon automatically applies if you go to meetkevin.com. You can automatically apply the coupon. Next expiration is May 31st, so you do have a little bit of time. But, yeah. I always try to be just transparent on like when that is. Though some people are like, oh, well, I want to be in now. You know, okay. So, let's see. Bernstein says Ethereum will reach $6,600 after the Ethereum ETFs are approved. I don't know, man. Sometimes that sounds to me like it's just trying to pump Ethereum, because after usually after the ETF approvals, you end up getting a decline, because it's sort of like a buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Now, so, okay. What else? Oh, a halt on Barnes & Nobles. Why? Because it's falling? Let me see. Oh my gosh. Yep. Yeah, and the problem now is, when it unlocks, it could just gap down. Right? So let me go to halts. Barnes & Noble is not plural. Is that true? Barnes & Noble. My childhood has just been ruined by you. Barnes & Noble. Ew. Oh. Ugh. Okay. So this is the second time it's paused. I'm sorry, third, fourth. It's had 4 pauses today. And the next unlock is going to be at 7:09:17. So in about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Oh, let's go, John Cody. John Cody says, in a single trade, I started with $5,000, ran it up 104% in a day, over $11,000 now. Let's go, John Cody. That's freaking awesome. Talking about the course there. Good for you, man. I really, pray that everybody can have that fortune. Obviously, I can't guarantee it. Like, some people are probably going to lose money. So, you know, I hope everybody can make money. Like, my dream would be every single person, even if you don't join the courses, like, even if you just watch the live streams, my hope is that you make money or you learn some perspective that helps you. It's all about education. And also, you know, what's so interesting about trading is you just sort of learn a lot about the psychology of money, frankly, because you're like, you know, it's very common. Like I took tendies on ENF and then it went up even more. It was up higher for like another, 5 minutes thereafter. And I'm like, I could have made more. But the woulda, coulda, shoulda, the psychology, it really does mess with you. Ooh, Tesla's trying. Not enough momentum there. Not enough. Enphase is still above where we entered. Well, when I say we, I mean me. But I want to see Barnes & Noble's. 45 seconds, and then it opens. Kevin for governor. Yeah, the problem with options is if you do hold a losing option, sometimes they just never make it back. So, like, sitting in a losing option position or sometimes doubling down, very, very, very scary. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Here we go. 10:04. 10:04:17. No! There it is. Oh, it's a green candle. Engage the reversing engines. Back up. No. No. Oh, no. Oh. I'm up $3,800 just from live free on YouTube. Let's go! Rolf Rentals LLC? That's awesome. Did you name your YouTube channel Rolf Rentals LLC so you could write off your YouTube premium subscription? I love it. It's a great idea. I mean, you're advertising Rolf Rentals. Anybody need a rental? Check out Rolf Rentals. House of Cards, good job, Alan. GWAV, that's awesome. Make your own damn choices. Yep. I mean, that's the important thing too, is everybody's got to, the goal is to learn. Yeah, like, frankly, if you watch me long enough, you know where the lines are. You could play the same things, you know? So... you remember that Dell shout out? Let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Just play the lines. That's it. You see where the lines are? Like, you could just copy them off the live streams if you want. Okay, so 144. Look at that. Barnes & Nobles really wants to move here. It's just going to end up getting halted again. It's scary when they halt them. Lulu's recovering a little bit. SunPower's doing well. The Qs are basically flat. Let me go to the average. VIX is up a little bit. Tesla, see, can't keep it up. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's some nice stability on VWAP here. Look at a perfect bounce on V. So that might be the entry. Is next bounce on the VWAP. I'll be looking for another potential entry. I don't think it's going to go 114 again. But that, and it's pretty close to that now. But that's interesting. That's going to be one to watch. Hood. Wow, Hood's bleeding out. Come on, baby. Back to 1794 so I could buy it again. Why 1794? Because it's a line. It's very simple. Tesla needs hymns. Yeah. How do you handle wash trades in a ticker you re-enter? Well, I mean, you basically don't wash trade if you're trading the same ticker, right? I mean, if you're trying to take a tax loss harvest, just don't re-enter for 30 days. Or take a derivative position on it, right? Like sometimes people do the shady and like they'll sell in one account and then they'll use another account. So they take the losses in one account and they'll buy it back in another account. Be careful. The IRS is wise to that stuff. So, thanks, Alan. Appreciate that. Do you have a Cybertruck? No. No, I don't. Anyway. Sun Power keeps going. Energy today. See, that's going to be great for Enphase. Where's that thing sitting now? Let's see here. Okay. That's pretty juicy. I'm going to watch Enphase. Okay. Let's head on over. I'm going to make another coffee. We'll head on over to, what's the last butter purchase you made? Bought a new Segway go-kart. Although I will say it's my daily driver, and the last one was getting a little janky. And so what I did is I disassembled the last one, and I turned it into the self-balancing Segway because you could take the motor out and put the stick in. So I did that, and I changed the tires on it too. Yeah, so it was like, what's crazy is it's like a $500 Segway I got for $100 in tires, basically. Because otherwise, I feel like it was just going to be trash. But getting those tires off was terrible. Like really, really bad. I think I have a picture of it. The hardware they used was just like soft as butter. And one of the sockets stripped, and I'm like, I can't get it off to replace the tires. And what I ended up doing, thought I had a convenient picture here of it, but apparently I don't. What I ended up doing is, this sounds crazy, but the socket was stripped, so I couldn't get it, couldn't get the socket out. So what I did is I fully stripped it with a drill bit. And, oh, I have the picture. Oh, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. Okay, one sec. You got to see this. No, House Hack didn't do dividend checks. You may have just gotten a credit card fee refund because we promised we would do that. So this is what the tires looked like. Look at this. This is what they looked like. This is how worn they were on my daily driver go-kart. So it was pretty bad. And this is what the hardware looked like. So I drilled the crap out of the inside of it. Then what I did is I took a big hammer. We call it the BFH, the big effing hammer. And I smashed the side of it right here. You can see where I just smashed the left side of it. And you won't believe this, but I took a flathead screwdriver, stuck it in, hammered the top of the flathead screwdriver, and then I was able to screw out what you would ordinarily use an Allen wrench for. And I got it. So this tire turned into that. How sexy is that? Ugh. Let's go, Enphase! Damn it, I should have re-entered. Damn! Wow, wow, wee, wah. Cashed out of the Tesla call yesterday, up 300% my first week in the course. Good job, man. Let's go. Changing tires on my sucks on my e-bike. Yeah. Bolt biter socket. I mean, I wasn't about to wait a day to get like some tools off of Amazon. I was just gonna use the tools that I have. You need a set of left-handed drill bits. I don't understand what that is. Must be a joke. I don't get it. All right, folks. I got to go. Thank you so much for being here. And let me push the button. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Why is this thing running like this? What is happening here? I don't know. Where did that come from? Now you're getting the red candle. BlackRock updated S1 for the... Oh, okay. Well, it's getting sold off right away. Let me see here. Yeah, look at that. Instantaneous sell-off there. Oh, yeah. BlackRock Spot ETF, a proposal to list and trade shares of the Ethereum Trust. Look at that sell-off. Holy smokes. The whales are screwing with us. Wow. That's crazy. That was a wild, wild ride on the one mins there. My goodness gracious. All right. Q's sideways. Tesla can't keep it up. Enphase is at 118. Are you freaking kidding? Come on, man. I should have gotten picked up at Wii. This is... I get mad at myself sometimes. But those options I sold... you can't do it. But the options I sold... Oh! They're up another, don't do it, Kevin. They're up another 45 cents. 45 cents on 500 contracts at 100. Up another 22 grand. Look at it. It's going to the 119. I freaking knew it. Oh, well. I love you all. Y'all agree. It's at 119. Fuck. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Don't do the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I know it's the option goes in the money. That's why somebody asked me earlier. You see this happening live, okay? It's not bullshit. Earlier, somebody's like, Kevin, why'd you pick 119? I'm like, because there's a chance it's going to go in the money today. It literally for a second there just went in the money. Oh my gosh. Oh, I paper-handed. What a little bitch. Damn. Oh, well. Yes, you should feel bad for me. I didn't make enough money. If you stayed in, it wouldn't have gone up. I'm gonna break this. I gotta go make another